Hello, it's David Svetkovsky and welcome to another Graduate Insights session.
Hi, I'm Kate Buchanan. I am Business Development and Client Solutions Manager at Fusion. Today we want to talk to you about doing more with less, being overwhelmed sometimes with some of the volume that we see in graduate recruitment. How can we effectively manage that?
So, Kate, based on your experience and the discussions you're having with various graduate leaders around the country, what are some of the key themes that are coming out and what's some of the advice that you could give?
Yeah, I think a lot of employers are seeing that candidates are perhaps submitting anywhere between 14 and 20 applications to different organisations. And how do we manage that volume when perhaps we only have a small number of vacancies available? So there is perhaps a bit of overwhelm creeping in. Perhaps teams have shrunk over COVID, where you might have had several members of the team. It's now smaller. We are being asked to do more with less, but you've still got all of that accountability, the responsibility, the pressure of getting it right. So there is a sense of overwhelm, I think, in the graduate community.
And there's some options out there. The different things we're hearing is, whether people have resources internally or looking to outsource or a blended approach to their recruitment. What are some of the trends that you're seeing in terms of the approach people are taking heading into what we're calling the first phase of recruitment this year, March, April, May, and then traditionally what has been a second half of the year approach? I think it's just going to morph into us recruiting all year like we did last year. But what are you seeing?
Yeah, absolutely. I think people are saying, well, I typically spend my budget on X, Y, and Z, and this is how I break it up. But actually, to just stop and take stock of how many applications you're screening and who's actually delivering that for you. Is it the best use of your time for one of your senior talent acquisition people to be sat in a cupboard screening for 6 weeks? Or is that better positioned for somebody to do the heavy lifting for you so that they can be doing some value add activity like speaking with stakeholders and doing the sort of the stuff that they're uniquely qualified to do. So we're definitely seeing that perhaps people are looking externally to say, well, is this the best use of my time, and how much is it costing me internally to deliver things like application screening, video interview screening, versus getting some extra support externally, people that do it time in, time out, know what they're looking for and have that expertise available.
And that's a key discussion. Grad leaders, grad managers is going, okay, what do I need to do? And a fundamental component of that is engaging internal stakeholders versus then the transactional expectations of running a recruitment process, and what's the balance and what's the cost and the measures. So what are some of the measures that you look at?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's easy to have a look at the true cost of things. So, head count, what your salaries are, what the technology costs you, those sorts of things that have a dollar value are really easy to equate to. But then there's the opportunity cost that you also need to look at. So what is the cost of, people in senior roles being physically present at face-to-face assessment centres versus virtual assessment centres? What's those billable hours equate to? So actually doing those financial calculations of all costs help graduate recruitment managers to better understand the budget available, the cost savings, and therefore what they have truly available to spend.
And if anyone needs any help out there, Kate's got a great formula in terms of doing the calculations so that you can present them to your business. And that's important because we're only weeks away, months away from closing applications and getting headstrong into the transactional component and the heavy lifting. So you need to make that assessment. What else are you seeing, Kate, out there?
Yeah, I think there is sort of some nervousness that outsourcing is perhaps a bit of a dirty word, but it is a safe pair of hands. We do have the methodologies in place, the best practice. It's tried and tested, and we have that sort of quality assurance in to make sure that the candidates that are being assessed first in the process are exactly the same as those candidates that apply at the last minute. So that consistency is key, but also we appreciate that, organisational brands are critical. So at Fusion, we would be that invisible engine, that scalability available to you, but led by your brand. So we would make sure that we take that on board and we present ourselves as the organisational brand, and we take that seriously in terms of candidate experience. So although there's a big discussion around transaction, there's also equally candidate experience and business experience to weigh up as we talk about managing volume.
And candidate experience is going to be, so important this year as the market fires up and it gets very competitive, and it's directly linked to renegs and the experience of offer. So it'll be interesting to see how the organisations go above and beyond again to engage and give the candidates the right experience. Last note, what's the best piece of advice could you give at this time of the year to the audience out there, Kate?
Yeah, I think it's just stop and take a big breath, and don't be tempted to just do exactly what you did last year, but it doesn't take too long to take a critical eye over the process and see where you can have those quick wins. And one of those being is, am I using my budget most effectively? Is there some lifting and shifting? And it doesn't necessarily mean what is that bottom line I have available, but look more broadly about the resource you have available in the team and how you can reposition what people are doing and where they add the most value. So let's look at the quick wins at this time of the year.
As always, we're up for a coffee if it's before 12 o'clock, but if you want to meet us after 12 o'clock, we're also up for a good wine and a chat, so please feel free to reach out. And good luck as you navigate through the year with your program.